Welcome to your daily stock market summary from MarketSnap. Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to have you here as we dive into today's market action. It's been a wild day with mixed signals across the board, geopolitical tensions keeping us on edge, and some standout moves in tech and energy. Let's break it down for you long-term investors, while also touching on the short-term waves that might catch your eye. Stick with me as we unpack what's driving the markets and how it fits into your wealth-building strategy. First up, let's talk indexes. The market showed a mixed bag today, reflecting the uncertainty hanging over Wall Street. The Nasdaq climbed a modest 0.35%, showing some resilience in tech, while the Dow took a hit, sliding 0.56%. The S&P 500 was pretty much flat, down just a hair at 0.11%. Volatility is still in play with the VIX sitting around 19, a slight dip but still signaling caution. For long-term players, these ups and downs are just noise. Focus on the bigger trends, but short-term, this choppiness could mean opportunities if you're watching closely. Now let's zoom out to the bigger picture with some headline news. Geopolitical risks are front and center as the U.S. and Iran gear up for crucial talks this weekend. The ongoing conflict has already rattled oil prices and stocks over the past 6 weeks, and investors are holding their breath to see if a ceasefire or Strait of Hormuz reopening could ease tensions. On the economic front, inflation data for March came in hot at 3.3% year-over-year, driven by soaring energy costs from the Middle East mess. This is eating into wage gains, and consumer sentiment has tanked to record lows. For long-term investors, this is a reminder to hedge against inflation. Think about assets that hold value when prices spike. Short-term, though, expect more market jitters until we get clarity on these talks. Shifting gears to some standout performers, let's check out the large-cap gainers. Tech is stealing the show today with Intel surging nearly 5% and Advanced Micro Devices up over 3%. Companies like Corning and Spotify also posted solid gains, riding the wave of tech optimism and AI-driven momentum. For long-term investors, these names are worth watching as AI adoption could fuel sustained growth over the next decade. Near-term, though, don't chase the hype. Wait for pullbacks to build positions. On the flip side, we've got some big names in the red. Tesla took a beating, dropping more than 5%, as concerns linger over delivery numbers and its pivot to robotics and AI. Other large-cap losers include ASML and GE Aerospace, both down over 3%. For long-term folks, Tesla's shift to new growth areas could be a game-changer down the road, but short-term volatility might test your patience. If you're looking to buy the dip, keep an eye on key support levels before jumping in. Let's talk market movers, those stocks driving the conversation. Nvidia continues to dominate trading activity with a slight uptick, while Tesla, despite its drop, remains a hot topic. Intel also saw heavy volume with its impressive gain. These names are shaping market sentiment right now, and for long-term investors, they're core to understanding where tech and innovation are headed. Short-term, the high volume suggests momentum plays could be in the cards if you're tactical. Speaking of volume, the most active stocks today paint a similar picture. Nvidia and Tesla are again at the top, joined by names like Nike and Nokia, which saw significant trading interest. High volume often signals strong investor focus, and for long-term strategies, it's a cue to dig deeper into fundamentals. In the medium term, these stocks could see sharp moves, so stay alert for news catalysts. Now let's peek at the earnings calendar for this week. We've got some heavy hitters reporting, including BlackRock on Friday and Delta Airlines midweek. These reports could set the tone for their respective sectors, so keep an eye out. For long-term investors, earnings are a window into a company's health. Look past the headlines for trends in revenue and margins. Short-term, expect volatility around these releases, especially if surprises hit the tape. You can find exclusive earnings transcript summaries on MarketSnap to dive deeper into the details. Looking at the past week's top performers among large caps, Garmin led the charge with a massive 21% jump, while Lumentum Holdings and AppLovin also posted double-digit gains. These moves highlight pockets of strength in tech and consumer sectors. For long-term portfolios, these could be names to research further, especially if their growth stories hold up. Short-term, though, some of these gains might be overextended, so tread carefully. On the other end, the worst performers over the past week include Genuine Parts, down over 20%, and Rivian, shedding 14%. Software and fintech names like Okta also took hits. For long-term investors, these dips could signal buying opportunities if the fundamentals are still solid. In the near term, though, sentiment seems sour, so don't rush in without a plan. Let's touch on sector performance over the past week. Industrials topped the list with a 2.1% gain, followed by consumer cyclical at 1.62%. Energy also showed strength, up over 4% week over week, no doubt tied to oil price dynamics. For long-term strategies, industrials and energy could be areas to overweight if geopolitical risks stabilize. Short-term, energy's run might face resistance if ceasefire talks progress. On the weaker side, healthcare lagged with a 0.62% drop, while utilities and financials also underperformed. These sectors are feeling the heat from inflation fears and rate uncertainty. For long-term investors, healthcare often offers defensive stability, so don't write it off yet. Near-term, though, these areas might stay under pressure until macro conditions clear up. Wrapping up the broader market vibe, the S&P 500's recent streak of gains has cooled off a bit today, reflecting caution ahead of the U.S.-Iran negotiations and persistent inflation worries. For long-term investors, remember that these macro events are temporary storms. Focus on quality companies with strong balance sheets. Short-term, though, we might see more sideways action until there's a clear catalyst. Over on the Nasdaq, the slight uptick today shows tech's resilience, even with all the noise. AI and chip stocks are still a driving force, and for long-term portfolios, this sector remains a growth engine. In the medium term, keep an eye on whether software stocks can catch up to the hardware rally we've been seeing. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope this breakdown helps you navigate the market's twists and turns. Be sure to stay engaged with our daily summaries and dive into our SWOT analyses for deeper insights on the companies and trends shaping your portfolio. See you tomorrow for more actionable updates. Keep building that wealth.